Hare Krishna and Gauranga. Just another few wee points. This morning I shared an excerpt from the Lalita Madhava on Facebook, but I thought I needed a bit more clarification than just my few words, on there. So, essentially speaking, Lalita Devi was saying that the holy name is extraordinary. It has an extraordinary nature. That whoever hears it becomes ecstatic. So, because Radharani had basically heard Krishna's name, and then she instantly started feeling ecstatic bliss. And Lalita says, yeah, that's the nature. Oh, there's Kundalata, says that's the nature. And then Lalita Devi says, yeah, but also if the hearer has love for Krishna, then they'll also feel. So for us, this was the point I was thinking, that for us as devotees, one, it means that it is possible for us to achieve this love of Godhead. And two, it shows that we never stop trying, simply because what is the nature of advanced hearers and advanced practitioners? Radharani and the gopis are the highest devotees of the Lord. Of course, we know that Srimati Radharani is the Lord's internal energy. So, she's the Hladini Shakti. So she's the potency of the Lord, the topmost potency of the Lord. But she's still talking and discussing with the gopis about the name of Krishna. So this is Krishna Katha, this is our sadhana, this is one of the things that we're meant to do. Get together and discuss Krishna. Get together and preach about the name of Krishna. And my Guru Maharaj was saying, and His Holiness Rupa Goswami, I was listening to a few of his lectures this morning, and he was saying that is one of the most vital things, is spreading the holy name. And to that degree we can see our advancement, if that we're advancing in spiritual life, is that we want to preach the holy name all over the world, that we actually have that taste and desire to preach Krishna consciousness. That's spiritual advancement, So wherever we are in the world, we need that kind of consciousness. Is let us spread the holy name. Have that determination, and then we'll advance nicely, because preaching comes hand in hand with our purity. The more we preach, the more we'll actually absorb what we're reading. Because when you read, it goes in. When you deeply study, it goes in more. But if you actually preach it, then you seem to remember, you recall, because Krishna wants the people to preach. Lord Chaitanya, he says, I have all these fruits of devotion, but I'm not able to distribute them all myself. So he was giving us this Krishna consciousness, this pure prema, to take it out to everybody all over the world. So that means that when he says that, he's empowering us to do it. So then also, Radharani and the gopis are also empowering us and giving us their mercy to preach, to spread the holy name of Krishna, simply just by chanting it and coming to a deep love for Krishna, and then just talking about it, discussing it, preaching it. Now right now we know that we can't physically just go all over the world, and even in many ways we couldn't before. Not every devotee has that facility to just jump out, boom, out of the door and away off to another country, maybe for a sannyasi or a brahmachari. But what do the grihasthas do? So again, it comes down to this most wonderful preaching via YouTube, via Zoom, via Teams, via Facebook, whatever it is. It takes 2 minutes to log a video, 5 minutes or something, whatever it is. And then so many millions can join these videos, Whereas when you're traveling and preaching to your local temples or your local centre, how many people can you fit in one room? Or how many people can you fit into a temple room? Even the Bhaktivedanta Manor Haveli or the Mayapur extension or the Vedic Planetarium, how many people can you fit inside there for Harinam Sankirtan? Whereas with these classes, thousands can watch these YouTube videos. And hopefully thousands and millions will watch these YouTube videos. Not mine, personally, maybe. But certainly, as more devotees do it, they'll say they have, 50 devotee friends in their local area. Those 50 devotee friends will have 50 devotee friends. And then, so on and so forth like that. More and more and more, they'll be able to preach it out to their local friends. And each one of them will have some, cousins, uncles, aunties, brothers, sisters who are not devotees, who'll have friends, work colleagues, bosses, whatever it is, who are all able to have a little listen to these classes. So we can do that. We can just hand these videos out and say, look, check out JD's channel, check out this devotee, that devotee's channel, and see what they've got to say on these topics. Because if you had asked me about this Lalita Madhava a few years back, I probably would have said, oh, did Prabhupada write it, or is it the Srimad Bhagavatam, or so on and so forth. But actually, as I've been going more into my chanting and my hearing, I'm starting to get a taste for these different books. This COVID has been fantastic. At the start of the whole COVID thing, I had got into the 25 rounds, and then during obviously Purushottama, as I mentioned, I was able to do a lot more than that. And of course we've got Kartik starting on the 1st, so again we can hope to try and chant extra. But and again, I've came to the realization of feeling that, yes, definitely flood with the rounds. Flood yourself with the holy name by doing extra, but don't forget the quality. And then now, all of a sudden, I'm getting some taste for reading these wonderful pastimes of the Lord in the form of these books like Lalita Madhava, and so on. And although these pastimes in many ways are still bewildering to me, nonetheless, it's hearing about Krishna. It becomes less and less bewildering as you approach him, because he wants to remove that cover of doubt and illusion from us as we surrender and as we approach. That's all Krishna is waiting to do, actually. He just really wants to give you himself. He just wants to just say, here I am in full. But we need to be ready to take that. Just like if you want to pick up something really hot, you have to wear gloves. Or if you want to go into some, when you have to go and wear these radioactive suits to go into a place where there's chemicals, you have to be ready for that situation. You want to go into a cold freezer for some time, you have to wear a suit, So you always have to have the right consciousness and the right, the right position in life to speak to Krishna. Because our material bodies wouldn't be able to take full darshan and full presence of the Lord. So as we purify ourselves and we become more spiritualized, we can actually be given the qualification and be given the suitable position to accept the Lord's mercy. Just like Arjuna in the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the universal form. He was saying, let me see this two-armed form. After seeing the universal form, it gave him such great fear. Then he wanted to obviously try and see the four-armed form, the Vishnu form, which again is quite, in many ways is more visible due to its nature. But that special two-handed, pure original form of Goloka Vrindavan Krishna is a very rare thing to see. So, to see that you needed those spiritual eyes. And you needed the special blessings, because of course the Lord gave him the spiritual eyes to see the Virat Rupa, the universal form, and he gave him the eyes to see the Vishnu form, the Vaikuntha Loka form, But even he said that Goloka Vrindavan form is for very few. So here we're hearing actually the discussions of people, or beings, you could say, who are actually seeing the Lord in that special Goloka Vrindavan form on a regular basis. Every single day the gopis' lives are geared around where is Krishna, what is Krishna doing, and despite actually being in Krishna's presence, still that is their consciousness, that, oh my God, Krishna's name is so bewildering, Krishna's name is so beautiful. The feeling, the love, the separation that comes just from hearing that name and not being present, is a thing even for them, and they are in Krishna's presence. So let alone for us, how important it is to actually learn that mood and tap into that mood of separation, of love for Krishna, because it may be some time yet, at least in physical terms, before we actually do go back to Godhead. We don't want it to be in another lifetime, but however long we have in this lifetime, cultivate every second and be ready, be qualified to go back. And then we can also be there hearing about Krishna, discussing with the gopas, the gopis, or or be one of the cows, or be something, in the pastimes of the Lord, even be one of the demons, be one of the devas, be one of the somethings, whatever it is, that we can serve the Lord in some capacity in the spiritual world. So I definitely recommend reading these books. There's many reasons given. One is that we discussed recently this Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajaguna Samudbhavaha, this verse about lust. And of course, one of the main manifestations of lust is gross sex desire. And it says that gross sex desire is combated by reading the pastimes of the Lord. So we have the Krishna book given by Srila Prabhupada, which he actually gave even before he finished the Srimad Bhagavatam, or even had got to the 10th canto, because they wanted to make sure that the whole pastimes of the Lord, i.e. the Krishna book, was presented before even the Bhagavatam was done, just in case he never got there, due to obviously his bodily pastimes being ready to wrap up. So he presented the Krishna book first. And then he also states, so he said this, that reading the Krishna book and reading these pastimes of Krishna and the gopis and so on and so forth, hearing about the Rasa Leela and so on and so forth, frees one from this gross sex life and lust. And also then you can imagine then how many these books by Rupa Goswami, Jiva Goswami, these other acharyas, all these books that they have are about the pastimes of the Lord. And they're all available to us. There's so many nice translations, as I've mentioned before. Devotees like Banu Swami and so on have made these translations available to us. And you don't even have to buy them. If you like buying physical copies, you can obviously go get the books, or you can use these e-books from Audio ISKCON Desire Tree, which is what I'm doing at the moment. I am actually a big fan of physical books, but you can't always get your hands on everything, so I'm having to wait it out, I guess, till one day I can have my complete library. But have a look through these books, make them an addition to the reading of Srila Prabhupada's, of course, and just relish these wonderful pastimes of the Lord. There's so much to offer, actually. So much to offer from them, and so much to offer to them, actually. We can give so much more of ourselves than we even realise. But just wanted to kind of share that and maybe clarify a bit more than what I only kind of briefly said on Facebook. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupa Goswami ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.